Welcome to the first part of my series about Mary, Queen of Scots' husbands, yes plural. This will be a 3-part series. So if you enjoy the first part, please like and subscribe. The stories of husband 2 and 3 are way more dramatic, I promise, but we cannot just ignore her first. After all, his early demise set the whole chain of events in motion. Mary, Queen of Scots, is one of history's most tragic and dramatic figures, and her life was marked by intrigue, betrayal, and heartbreak. Her story begins with her rise to power as a young queen and takes a dark turn with the mysterious death of her first husband, Francis II of France, and her eventual return to Scotland under a cloud of suspicion and political turmoil. Mary's early life and marriage to Francis II. Mary Stuart was born on December 8, 1542, and became Queen of Scotland when she was just 6 days old, following the death of her father, King James V. At the age of 5, she was sent to France to be raised in the French court, where she was betrothed to Francis, the Dauphin of France and heir to the French throne. The two were married in 1558 when Mary was 15 and Francis was 14. Their union was not only a romantic match but also a political one, designed to strengthen the alliance between Scotland and France. Mary's time in France was marked by luxury and privilege. She was adored by the French court and became Queen Consort of France when Francis ascended the throne in 1559. However, their happiness was short-lived. Francis, who had always been sickly and frail, fell seriously ill in late 1560. He died on December 5, 1560, at the age of just 16, leaving Mary a widow at 18. The suspicion of poison Francis's death was sudden and shocking, and rumors of foul play quickly spread. Some speculated that he had been poisoned, as his illness had been brief and mysterious. While there was no concrete evidence to support these claims, the idea of poisoning was a common suspicion in royal courts, where political intrigue and power struggles often led to such accusations. The true cause of Francis's death was likely natural, possibly an ear infection that led to an abscess in his brain, but the whispers of poison lingered, casting a shadow over Mary's time in France. Mary's forced return to Scotland after Francis's death, Mary's position in France became precarious. Her mother-in-law, Catherine de' Medici, who had never been fond of Mary, took control of the French court, and Mary found herself increasingly marginalized. With little reason to remain in France and no clear path to power there, Mary made the difficult decision to return to Scotland in 1561. She was now a widow, a queen without a kingdom, and her return to her homeland was fraught with challenges. Scotland had changed dramatically during Mary's absence. The Protestant Reformation had taken hold, and the country was deeply divided along religious lines. Mary, a devout Catholic, faced suspicion and hostility from many of her Protestant subjects. Despite this, she initially managed to navigate the political landscape with skill and grace, earning the respect of some of her nobles and subjects. However, Mary's return to Scotland was not entirely voluntary. She was pressured by circumstances and the realization that her future in France was uncertain. Her decision to return was also influenced by her claim to the English throne, as she was a descendant of Henry VII of England and considered by many Catholics to be the rightful heir to the English crown instead of her cousin, Elizabeth I. This claim would later become a source of immense conflict and tragedy in Mary's life. The beginning of a tragic downfall. Mary's return to Scotland marked the beginning of a series of events that would lead to her eventual downfall. Her marriage to her second husband, Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley, ended in disaster when he was murdered in 1567 under suspicious circumstances. Mary's subsequent marriage to the Earl of Bothwell, who was widely believed to be involved in Darnley's death, further alienated her from her subjects. She was forced to abdicate the throne in favor of her infant son, James VI, and fled to England, where she sought the protection of her cousin, Elizabeth I. Instead of finding sanctuary, Mary was imprisoned by Elizabeth for 19 years. She became the focal point of numerous Catholic plots to overthrow Elizabeth, and in 1587, she was executed for her alleged involvement in one such plot. Her life, which had begun with such promise, ended in tragedy and betrayal. Mary, Queen of Scots, remains a figure of fascination and sympathy, her story a blend of romance, intrigue, and heartbreak. The death of her first husband, Francis II, and her forced return to Scotland were pivotal moments that set the stage for the dramatic and ultimately tragic events that would define her reign and legacy. I hope you enjoyed the first part of this 3-part series. If you did, like and subscribe so you do not miss the other parts. Thank you for watching my video. Have a wonderful day.